Your cat knocks things off the counter for no reason. They stare at a blank wall. They sprint through the house at 2 in the morning like something is chasing them. They sit in an empty box that arrived 10 minutes ago. They lick your hair. They chirp at birds through the window. You've laughed at these things, filmed some of them, told people about them as evidence that your cat is simply strange. But none of these behaviors are strange. Not one of them is random. Every single habit your cat has that seems bizarre or inexplicable is actually a window into how they're feeling, what they need, and in many cases, exactly what they think about you. Here's what your cat's weirdest habits are actually telling you. 1. Knocking things off surfaces. This is not an accident. Let's start with the one that drives most owners the furthest toward frustration. Your cat climbs onto the counter, makes deliberate eye contact with you, and then slowly, with complete intention, pushes something off the edge. Watches it fall. Looks back at you. Most people assume this is mischief. Attention-seeking in its most irritating form. And they're not entirely wrong about the attention part, but they're missing what's underneath it. Cats are hunters. Their entire neurological system is built around detecting, tracking, and interacting with moving objects. When your cat pushes something and watches it fall, they're activating one of the most fundamental processes their brain knows: the tracking of movement, the prediction of trajectory, the satisfaction of causing a physical outcome in their environment. But here's the part that involves you specifically. Your cat almost always does this when you're present and watching. They're not doing it alone in an empty room for their own amusement. They're doing it in front of you, making eye contact before and after, waiting for your response. That's a social behavior. They want a reaction, not because they're being manipulative, but because interaction with you is something they actively seek. The knocked object is the opening move. Your response is what they came for. What they're revealing: they want engagement. Real engagement. Active, reciprocal, in-the-moment interaction with you. And if this is the behavior they've landed on, it's because it works. You respond every time. In their mind, they've discovered something reliable about how to reach you. 2. Zoomies at 2 in the morning. Their energy has nowhere else to go. The technical term is frenetic random activity periods. Cat owners call it the zoomies. Whatever you call it, the experience is the same. Your cat goes from completely still to running at full speed through your home, bouncing off furniture, skidding around corners, and generally behaving as though they've received urgent news that requires immediate physical response. And then, as suddenly as it started, it stops. They sit down. They lick a paw. They act as if nothing happened. Here's what's actually going on. Cats are crepuscular. Their bodies are biologically primed for peak activity at dawn and dusk. That's when their ancestors hunted, when their systems are most alert and most ready for physical output. In the wild, that energy would go into actual hunting. Long, sustained physical effort that exhausted the system and left nothing in reserve for middle-of-the-night sprints through a living room. But your cat doesn't hunt. They live in a home where food appears without effort, where their hunting instinct has no natural outlet, where all that biological readiness builds up through the day with nowhere to go. The zoomies are a pressure release. A burst of physical expression from a body that was designed for more movement than domestic life provides. What they're revealing: your cat needs more active play than they're currently getting. Not toys left on the floor, interactive play. Something that moves like prey, that requires them to stalk and chase and pounce. 10 to 15 minutes a day of genuine interactive engagement can change the frequency of 2 in the morning sprints dramatically. The energy is going to come out somewhere. The question is just whether you give it a better option. And if this is starting to make sense of things your cat does that you've never been able to explain, hit like and subscribe. We want to reach every owner who's been living with a cat they didn't fully understand. 3. Sitting in boxes and small spaces. They're not being weird. They're being safe. A package arrives. You open it, set the box aside, turn back to whatever you were doing. And within minutes, sometimes seconds, your cat is in it. Not investigating it. In it. Settled. Content in a way they rarely are on the expensive bed you bought them specifically for the purpose of being comfortable. This one goes straight to the core of how cats experience safety. Cats are simultaneously predators and prey. That dual nature means their nervous system is always running 2 parallel calculations. Am I hunting, and am I hunted? And one of the most powerful ways to resolve the second question in their favor is enclosure. A box, a tight corner, a small space with defined walls and a single opening. These things give a cat something that open space never can. The ability to see everything approaching while remaining invisible from most angles. The assurance that nothing can reach them from behind. The physical sensation of boundaries that tells their nervous system, you are contained, you are protected, nothing can surprise you here. That box isn't comfortable because it's soft. It's comfortable because it's safe in a way that activates something ancient and deeply reassuring in your cat's body. What they're revealing, the degree to which your cat seeks out enclosed spaces, tells you something about their baseline stress level. A cat who spends a lot of time in boxes and tight corners is a cat whose nervous system is working harder than it should be to feel secure. More hiding spots, more elevated perches, more spaces that feel genuinely theirs. These things can lower that baseline in ways that change how your cat moves through the world. 4. Chattering at birds, frustration and instinct having a conversation. You've heard it. That strange, rapid clicking sound your cat makes when they're watching a bird or a squirrel through the window. Teeth chattering, jaw moving in a way that looks almost mechanical, a quiet intensity that seems unlike anything else they do. This one has genuinely puzzled animal behavior researchers, and the most compelling explanation connects it back to the hunt. In the wild, cats sometimes make a specific quick bite to the back of prey's neck, a killing bite that's precise and decisive. The chattering sound your cat makes appears to mimic the jaw movement of that bite. Some researchers believe it's an involuntary physical response to prey the cat can see but cannot reach, the body beginning the sequence it would complete if the glass weren't there. Others believe it may have originally served as a mimicry tool. Wild cats in some regions have been observed imitating the sounds of their prey to draw them closer. Either way, what you're watching is your cat's hunting system activating in response to something it wants and cannot have. The glass is the problem. The bird is the trigger. And the chattering is the sound of instinct running into an obstacle. What they're revealing, this behavior is a sign of a healthy, engaged, predatory drive. A cat who chatters at birds is a cat whose hunting instincts are active and alert. The frustration behind it is real, and it's worth addressing. A window perch, a bird feeder positioned where they can watch it, interactive play that gives those same instincts somewhere to go. 5. Licking your hair or skin, you've been adopted at the deepest level. This is the one most owners find alternately sweet and slightly strange. Your cat climbs up near your head and begins grooming your hair. Or licks your hand or your arm with the same thorough attention they give their own fur. It feels odd. It's also one of the most significant things they do. In the wild, mutual grooming, called allogrooming, is something cats only do with members of their colony. Not with strangers. Not with animals they're indifferent to. Only with the specific creatures they've accepted as genuinely close, as family, in the way cats understand family. When your cat grooms you, they're not grooming a human. They're not even fully aware of the distinction. They're grooming a member of their group. Someone whose scent they want to tend to, whose presentation in the world they feel some responsibility for, who has been integrated into their social circle at a level deep enough to deserve this particular kind of attention. There's also a reciprocal element. Cats groom each other in the places they can't reach themselves, behind the ears, the back of the neck, the top of the head. When your cat licks your hair, they may be offering you the same service. Tending to the part of you that you, in their estimation, can't properly manage on your own. What they're revealing, this is one of the clearest expressions of genuine social bonding your cat is capable of. If your cat grooms you, you are not just their owner. You are their family. And that distinction, in the way cats experience the world, is everything. 6. Staring at blank walls, they're not seeing nothing. You are. This is the one that unsettles people most. Your cat sits in the middle of the room, fixes their gaze on a specific point on the wall, and stares. Unmoving. Completely focused on something you cannot see. The supernatural explanations are popular for a reason. It looks exactly like something is there. But the actual explanation is more interesting than that, and says something real about the gap between how your cat perceives the world and how you do. Your cat's senses are calibrated for a completely different level of environmental detail than yours. They hear frequencies you can't detect. They see movement in near darkness. They feel air currents through their whiskers that are invisible to you. They detect smells that have no equivalent in your sensory experience. That blank wall is not blank to them. There's a sound inside it, a pipe, a small animal, an insect moving through the space between the plaster. There's a movement at the edge of their visual field that your eyes aren't built to register. There's something in the air near that wall that has changed since the last time they checked, and their brain has flagged it as worth investigating. They're not staring at nothing. They're attending to a layer of reality that exists just outside your ability to perceive it. What they're revealing, how often your cat does this, and how intensely, tells you something about their level of environmental engagement. A cat who stares at walls frequently is a cat whose senses are actively scanning, which is healthy. But it's also worth checking, are there actual sounds in your walls? Scratching, movement, anything that might indicate something living in the structure of your home that your cat has been trying to tell you about? They may have been pointing at a problem for longer than you realize. Here's what all of these habits have in common. None of them are random. None of them are evidence that your cat is strange or broken or simply operating on a frequency that can't be understood. Every single one of them is your cat's internal world, their needs, their instincts, their feelings about you and their environment, finding its way to the surface in the only forms available. The knocked objects are a request for connection. The zoomies are unexpressed energy looking for an exit. The boxes are a nervous system seeking relief. The chattering is a hunter whose instincts have nowhere to go. The grooming is love expressed in the most direct way a cat knows. The wall staring is perception operating at a level you can't follow. Your cat has been showing you who they are every single day. In the sprints and the stares and the small deliberate destructions. In the strange sounds and the inexplicable fascinations and the moments that made you think they were just odd. They weren't being odd. They were being completely, entirely, honestly themselves, and hoping, in whatever way cats hope, that you were paying enough attention to see it.